Medi-Cal Rx will implement Claim Utilization Management edits for Reject Code 80. Diagnosis code submitted does not meet drug coverage criteria for claims impacted by Code 1 diagnosis restriction for members 22 years of age and older on April 30th, 2024. Providers can identify if a drug is impacted by a Code 1 diagnosis restriction by searching the contract drug lists by the drug's generic name. If a restriction is present, the provider can review the Medi-Cal Rx Diagnosis Crosswalk to identify accepted diagnoses and the International Statistical Classification of Disease 10th Revision ICD-10 codes to meet the Code 1 diagnosis restriction as it pertains to impacted drugs. This instructional video provides a general overview on accessing and navigating the Medi-Cal Rx Crosswalk within the Medi-Cal Rx Provider Portal. To begin, let's review how to access this resource. From the main page of the Provider Portal as shown on the screen, you'll want to access the Forms and Information section. Note, signing in is not required to access this resource. One option is to select the Forms and Information on the left-hand tab. Another option is to select the Tools and Resources icon at the top right-hand corner and select Forms and Information from the drop-down. After the Forms and Information webpage opens, you'll notice that new tabs appear on the left-hand side of the page. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're interested in the covered products list. This page provides Medi-Cal Rx's contract drug and product lists. For the purpose of this demonstration, we'll focus on the Medi-Cal Rx Diagnosis Crosswalk. In some cases, when selecting the link, the Excel spreadsheet will automatically download, and you must select to open. In this example, the Excel spreadsheet opened in a new tab in the browser. Now that we have our document open, let's navigate through the list. This spreadsheet contains the list of drugs impacted by the Code 1 diagnosis restriction, along with their formulation and accepted diagnoses and their ICD-10 codes needed to meet the restriction. This spreadsheet is subject to change with notification via an alert posted to the Bulletins and News page of the Medi-Cal Rx web portal. To navigate through this list efficiently, you can utilize the search feature. Select the Control F buttons on your keyboard and a search bar will populate. Looking at our columns, the first column is category. This will describe the drug classifications. The next column is drug name by generic name first. If the restriction applies to a specific formulation or a brand name is named, you will find this information following the generic name. The third column is the ICD-10 disease classification provided with either the disease group or ICD-10 codes accepted to meet the Code 1 diagnosis restriction. Finally, the last column identifies the date the Code 1 restriction became effective for the drug. For the purposes of this demonstration, we'll walk through the medication diazepam nasal spray. In this example, we see that diazepam falls under the benzodiazepine category, along with other benzodiazepines. Under the ICD-10 column, we see the accepted disease groups and ICD-10 codes for nasal and rectal formulations. So in this example, a claim will not reject with Reject Code 80 for diazepam nasal spray if submitted with ICD-10 codes G40, epilepsy and recurrent seizures, or R56, convulsions not elsewhere classified at the time of claim adjudication, or if providers are able to attest that Code 1 diagnosis restriction is met at point of sale. If these conditions are not met, a pre-authorization for Reject Code 80 will be required. For more information regarding Reject Code 80 implementation, Medi-Cal Rx Reinstatement, or other Medi-Cal Rx information, providers and prescribers can refer to our resources available on the Medi-Cal Rx website. This concludes our Medi-Cal Rx Diagnosis Crosswalk navigation video.